Okay, so what we're going to do on this video are the techniques for fourth dan. Now, by the time you get to fourth dan, it should be really simple for you to take the techniques and perform them to the left and to the right, or to the right and to the left. There's no need to demonstrate every technique to both sides. By this stage, you should be well versed in them and be able to do it. Now, the fourth dan techniques are really a culmination of all the techniques that I went beforehand. And this is all arrest techniques or techniques you can use for come-alongs or to control your partner. So the first thing is that, just on the side, sort of scenario is, generally some of these will be done with two people, like if it was police officers or door staff or some other sort of security that wants to get somebody in a controlling position. But for the moment we're going to do them just with one person. So you stand aside like the guy who you want to get on the ground and control him. If I was to just grab his hand, I'd be too slow and he would pull it away. So before I grab your hand, pull it away. Yeah, I would never be able to grab that hand. So instead of going for the wrist and grabbing his hand, what I do is approach from the side and slap the back of the elbow up into my hand. So I use the back of this in order to push his hand up, and then I take a hold of it. So there, grab into here, rotate, pull him onto his front. Now as soon as he's down on his front, I apply the wrist lock, which initially controls him. I come over the top of him, force the back of my knee into the front of his shoulder, kneel down on his back, say, put your other arm outside please. Now they'll do exactly what you want them to do, because you've got them in a painful position, so you've got pain compliance. I take this hand, rotate it up as well, so this is also up in the lock, and then using my thighs, I push them down so that the elbows bend. Rotate both hands in the way to keep the back of the wrist together, where I can now keep a hold of that hand on its own. Now I can reach for any sort of mechanical restraints in order to restrain the person before standing up and picking them up off the floor. Okay, so the second technique is finger locks. So what's going to happen, the scenario is this guy's becoming aggressive towards me, so he's pointing his finger at my chest as he gives me abuse and he's telling me what to do. So what I'm going to do is, just for safety's sake, I'm going to use two fingers. So as he pokes it against my chest, what I have to do is engage his brain with a question: what's your problem, mate? I take a hold of the fingers, and it's simple, because my hands are up here anyway, like we would do in any sort of self-defense situation. Just by pushing my hips in this direction, I don't need to move my hand. My hand comes across and grabs a hold of the fingers relatively simply. So I've got, my pinky becomes my fulcrum point, and the whole finger is my lever. Now from here, I'm going to rotate it in this direction. So wherever his palm goes, wherever his palm goes, that is where he's going to go. So from here, I've grabbed the finger, I take it over, rotate it up here, and place the back of my forearm against it. Now that makes a base. So now I can apply this lock. Yeah? So do you feel that lock on? So what I'm going to do from there is I just pull it forwards, and I put the back of his forearm against my chest. Now if you punch me in the face there, punch me in the face. Yeah? So just by pushing my shoulder forwards, and I don't pull the fingers back anymore, I just push the shoulder forwards, keeping the fingers in that trap position, and rotate it forwards, yeah? And that's what applies the lock. Okay, technique 3. Now this is a follow-on from the second technique. So the scenario this time is, the guy's, again, he's pointing towards me, he's being aggressive. So David, if your hands up, he's being aggressive towards me. So what I'm going to do is, generally if somebody's pushing you and they're really confident, then they feel quite happy keeping their hands out in front of them, because the body language that they're using, they feel they're in a controlling position. So I want him to maintain that controlling position. And as he does, I'm just going to step off to the line, grab a hold of the fingers, trap it against my shoulder, and strike him up into the throat, or into the armpit, or punch him in the ribs, or any sort of to strike at all that's going to mentally distract him. So as soon as I've done that, I'm going to bring this hand round, and again, I'm back into the same position again, where I'm using my forearm as a base. Now from here, the beauty of this technique is you can use this for a come along, or you can use it to put mechanical restraints on them. You can do anything you want, because you're in full control of the person. So from here, you can take this, keeping the base on the bottom, you can take the person and you can hold them on the floor there. Put your other hand out please. Bring it up your back, thank you. From there, you know, you can put your handcuffs on them, or your plastic cuffs on them. Again, you can bring them back up, stand up please. Come over. We can use this as a way to search a person. So you bring them over, just transfer your arm from underneath. I push his forearm against this board, yeah, and again apply the technique, apply the finger lock. From here, you can check for weapons. Bring them back round again, and all the time you're maintaining control on this finger and you're maintaining pressure. And because you've got into this position, there's no way that they can slide their finger out as long as you maintain full control. As soon as you relinquish control even for a second, they'll pull the fingers out. Yeah? So you've got to maintain control throughout the whole thing. Okay, so technique number 4, what's going to happen is the guy again, once again, he's becoming aggressive towards me, so as he pushes towards my chest, I'm going to, that's it, as he pushes towards my chest, I'm going to take the hand and I'm going to push it down, keeping a hold of it so that the palm of his hand's pressed against my stomach. As I take a hold of the elbow, I step forward, keep my head nice and close, and I rotate up so that I'm in here and his palm's pressed against it, so I'm applying a wrist lock using my stomach. So he's there, he pushes, trap, keep it in tight, pull him up so you've got him in the wrist lock. Now from that position, what you do is this hand then comes through the underneath and turns around. So you get the back hammer lock, just stand still. You get the back hammer lock. Now the fingers go in between the two muscles in the shoulder and the chest, lock this round and bring it up. Now it's important that the back of the hand is against the back of his arm, not the front of the hand. So that you can do this cutting motion. Up here, you keep it up there nice and tight. Now you can either use it as a come along technique to take them where you want them to go, or you can use it to take them down. So up, under, keep them tight and take them off balance. Just tell them, sit down. They'll sit down, keeping this lock applied all the time. Pull them round onto the front. Again, the lock's applying throughout the whole thing. Take a hold of it, keep it pushed up their back, yeah, and again using the pain compliance, tell them, bring your other arm up please. You bring the other arm up, take a hold of this, now you can reach whatever mechanical restraint you want and you can control them in that position. Okay, this is another push to the chest. So again, the guy pushes to the chest, I'm just going to knock his hand out to the side and at the same time strike up. Right into this muscle on the side there, we've done this before, the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Now if you hit anywhere in here, what will happen is he'll get a shock over the top of his head. It makes him go all woozy, as just much the same as a boxer when he's been hit on the button. So he comes out, he pushes, here, strike. I'm going to come around, I'm going to either grab the other side of his neck, or grab his hair, or grab his ear, or anything like that. Come up and hold them tight in this position. Now you can keep the person locked up in this position, yeah, but what I want to do is get them down onto the ground and be able to control them. So you push the head out, again, lock him up, so he's trapped there. Now I'll turn this over the back, pull him onto his front, the other arm comes out, again I sit down at the side, and exactly the same as the last one, keeping the wrist compressed. Give me your hand please. Bring this hand over the back, rotate that in as well, push the elbow down and draw them together. Now keep them trapped, again, while I go for my mechanical restraints. Okay, in this technique what we'll do is, this can come from a push, a punch to the face, any sort of forward attack. So what happens, my partner punches, pushes, does whatever, my hands are up, I'm going to parry to the side, exactly the same as the drills that we've done in third dan, there's no difference whatsoever. So I'm parry to the side and trap a hold of the wrist. So that's it, here, parry, trap, strike. I'm going to lock this up. Now as I do it, I'll lock it up and keep them coming. So you keep the momentum going. You have to keep the momentum going. Punch. If I go here and I stop here, now I'm going to have to fight with them again, which I don't really want to do. So as soon as you get into this position, you're throwing it and then you're bringing it down in a swift circle. So he punches here, there, down into that circle again, so I keep them controlled. And again, exactly the same as the last technique. Arm goes over, applying the lock, rotate them on each front. Again, hand please, the hand comes up there, into this position, and now I can reach for my restraints again. Okay, number 7. So the scenario for this one is, do you know, there's this young guy here, he's fully drunk or drugs or both. Do you know, he's being a bit cheeky, he's a bit lippy. I want to control him, or I want to get him out of the club, or whatever the situation is, I need to be able to control this guy before something kicks off. So it can come from either his hands are in his pocket, or they're at his side, or they're at the back here, either or, whatever it is. So what I have to do is shoot my hand through. And as I do, I'm just going to step to the side of him and rotate over so that his hand begins to go up into our arm and shoulder lock. So I'm here, calm yourself, son. I pull him over so he's in this position. So he's controlled from here. I'm going to bring this back and cut down so that I'm now applying this lock. My hand again goes in and under. By squeezing in between these two muscles, I'm going to push them up and control them. Now, exactly the same as we've done before, you can either use this as a come-along technique, you know, so I can remove them from a club, yeah, shopping centre, whatever the case may be, or I might want to get them down and control them properly. So I come up, break his balance, yeah, by tipping him forward. Now, if it gets to the point that he's resisting and he won't tip backwards, if you use your whole hand, if you resist forwards, yeah, so you'll not let me pull him back, whole hand. Across the nose, yeah, and under the bridge of the nose, pull him back so he's controlled and tell him, sit. Yeah, so now he's sitting, I can do the same thing I've done the last time. Hopefully not knee him in the head like I've done. Again, control his wrists. Give me the other wrist please. Pull him up and control him. I'll not do the lock properly because David's getting a bit sick of getting locked up here and he's in a bit of pain. So.